Okay, so thank you very much for coming along. I know I'm up against the infamous Pete Duncanson. Who shit was he? Oh, didn't want to see him, did you? So I'm doing a talk. It's titled Bye Bye Log4Net and Hello Serilog. So my name is Warren. I've been doing Umbraco stuff for 10-ish years now, long time. So I've worked at various agencies, such as the Cogworks, and I now work at the HQ on the development team. So I was originally hired to work on Umbraco forums, and the community probably still thinks that's my active role day to day. But I'm not just the forums guy. As much as I like to talk about forums, I do other stuff, believe it or not. So why do we say goodbye to Log4Net? Well, generally it's a bit crap, is my opinion, but a text file, a text log file from Log4Net is kind of very hard to read when the log file grows larger and larger on kind of busy sites. So finding a pattern in this kind of very verbose or very long text file sucks. It's really hard unless you love regular expressions, which I know I don't, but if you do, then you can obviously maybe find a pattern. You might be able to find, okay, I can find all the errors if I search for error and so on. But yeah, under the hood, Log4Net just produces a raw string. There's kind of no metadata or no easy data that you can kind of pluck it out, unless, like I said, you use regular expressions. So Serilog is a logging framework that supports message templates, also known as kind of structured logging. So the main benefits that I see with structured logging, it allows you to query and find items a lot easier than kind of trawling an arbitrary text file looking for clues. So for an example, you could find a log from a given class very quickly, or you could find all the logs where member ID 1234 performed an action. So having this kind of easy way to kind of pluck out this extra data makes your life debugging your customer sites a lot easier. So this is an old example with Log4Net that produces a text string. There's, like I said, there's no easy way to see any patterns unless you do magic with regular expressions. But here is a JSON representation of a log in Serilog. So you can see we get a hell of a lot more information. I'm going to have to get closer because I'm blind. So we have the timestamp. So we have this thing, which is the message template. So I can say, get in the type name, loaded types from the cache file. And I can find out, okay, it was a debug, and the type, okay, so this is my class where it's been, this type name refers to this type name property in our message template. And the source context is the class where the log item was initiated from. And then we have extra metadata as well, so I can find out the process ID 6304, and okay, it was running on my machine, which would be Delbook, but if you was load balanced, it could be machine A, machine B, whatever. So you can see this gives you a lot more depth and kind of structured way of finding out what's going on with the logs. So you can see if we just quickly compare, crap way, good way. Crap way, good way. Right. So this is kind of a good and bad use cases of trying to use Serilog. So Serilog is now in V8. It's been replaced. It's you'll do login, your custom login using Serilog. So these are kind of two examples. So the top one is that I'm doing string interpolation. So I'm doing processed event name in a lap milliseconds. So what this does would obviously give me my save to database, and my lap milliseconds is 34. So why this version is bad is that when it goes into Serilog, you will just get one message. You won't get this as a property, so you won't be able to then search for event name. you then won't be able to search for elapsed milliseconds. So there's a very slight difference that you'll maybe have to get used to over time, but the second better format is to say I've processed, there's obviously a typo here if you're paying attention. This one should say event name, so I've processed the event name in elapsed milliseconds. So this, and then I pass this would obviously be event name, and this is obviously correct. This is the elapsed millisecond. So this will then generate that correct JSON structure with those two properties passed to my JSON log item. If I did it this way, we would not get those two extra properties in the log. And that means you can't easily search for them, you can't find them, you wouldn't be able to then say, find me all the logs where that particular request took longer than 500 milliseconds. You just wouldn't be able to find that information easily, anyway. So, Serilog has this concept of syncs. Log4Net has them as appenders. But Serilog syncs are kind of, a bit more useful in my opinion. So we could store it to text files. What else have I put? So out of the box, we're going to continue right into a old style text file, exactly the same formats as Log4Net does today, just in case you have some weird and wonderful tools that you have in your dev suitcase of handy tips and tricks to parse it. But we're also going to render that JSON text file on disk alongside it, just because it gives you a lot more flexibility. What else did I write here? Okay, guys, so other things are available. So out of the box, you could log them to similar for Log4Net appenders. You could put the logs in an Azure table storage, or you could go and log it to Elma.io or Datadog or whatever, or Windows event log if you want to keep Jeffrey happy if you saw his security talk this morning. So the options are endless. But the idea is that you can search on this stuff. Oh. So why did I decide to do this? So in the development team, every probably once a month, we take it in turns to help the support team. So when you guys on cloud or you Gold partners send a support ticket in, if the support team can't deal with your request, then they will escalate it to one of us in the development team. And as much as you are very good at giving us information, we sometimes have to trawl your log files, and getting, I don't know, a 500 meg log file and looking over for the last 3 days to figure out one tiny error that we're trying to help you with is kind of tedious at times. So this was kind of a way to kind of make my life a little bit better going forward if I have to look at your log files in the future. So, some of you may or may not have seen this. There was a tweet, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks ago or so, but I'm going to show you something now that's going to be coming to the back office in V8 very soon. So you're going to get a sneak peek of V8 as well. And we will have a... So this is V8. I don't know if everyone at the back can see, if I need to zoom. All good? I think that's good, yes? Okay, so this is kind of my overview of my logs for today. So on the right, we can see that, okay, I've got 8 errors. I should probably check those out. And then I've got this pie chart, so I can see the breakdown of my quantity of errors. Okay, so I've got quite a lot of info, and I've got quite a lot of debug messages. Okay, maybe this is my development environment. Maybe I want to see these messages. And then on here, we have kind of saved searches. So let's take through a couple. So I can say, find me all the logs where the level is not verbose and not debug. So I can click into that if my session doesn't time out. My super secret password of password 1234. Don't hack me. Okay. So let's do another search. Okay, there we go. So I can then say in this, let's see if I can zoom a little and hold the mic at the same time. There we go, we got rid of the tree. So in this text box, we say, we got this kind of query language. So we got find me anything, also not weather level. So this is one of the properties on that JSON, where the level is not verbose and the level is not debug. So I can see and filter these records quite nicely. So I then can kind of scroll down, and then, okay, this is kind of not the most exciting. Okay, so I try to log in here, so I can expand this, and then I can see all those properties. So I can find the timestamp, the message template, the event type, the process ID, the thread ID, and so on. And then, for example, I could click on this HTTP request number. So we will append a unique ID or integer for each request. So then I could click on this 101, so find me all log items where the request number was 101. So now I can see a group of logs that correlate to one another. So if your site was busy, not necessarily the order of the logs that come in are necessarily related to one another. So now I know, okay, in this request, yep, I was trying to look at the log viewer, the user cache refresher under the hood is doing something, and yeah, my login attempt succeeded. So yeah, and then we can then find me all the logs that have the property duration assigned to them. So now I can see, okay, there's things here taking 78 milliseconds. What else we got? We got some long ones for now, 68 milliseconds. But I could change this and say, find me all the logs that have the property duration, and the duration is greater than 1,000 or 1,000 milliseconds. So you can see it has duration, and duration greater than 1,000. So now I'm finding all the log items or potentially requests that are now quite slow. And then I could investigate and find out, okay, maybe why are these slow? For now, they're just my machine being slow, as always. But yeah, it gives me an insight in terms of what's going on under the hood. And then obviously this is kind of endless. So depending on what properties you log into your logs, then you'll be able to kind of search and query and filter this stuff. I think that's it for demo-wise, just because I think my machine feels like it's struggling. So let's see if I had any more slides. I think I had some notes. If you're interested in Serilog, so let me... Oh, did that work? So if you're interested in getting ready for V8 and login, make sure to check out the library underneath, which is Serilog.net. Loads of great resources and information about these Log4Net appenders or Serilog syncs. So if you have some weird and wonderful use cases where you need to log out to different scenarios, then you can. So the creator, Nicholas Blumhardt, make sure to check out his blog as well. So yeah, he's the author of Serilog, and he details some of these features in a lot more depth. And then the Gitter channel, so it's like the GitHub Slack type thing. So there's Gitter. If you go to the Gitter Serilog channel, he's quite active in there. So if you've ever have any questions in regards to how would I do X, Y, Z with Serilog, or how would I store my logs in this particular custom database or this particular custom scenario, he will gladly help you out along with the rest of the Serilog community. So I think that was it. I know login is not the most exciting of things, but hopefully it's a little bit more exciting now that we have this extra data around. Thank you.